This episode of Soldier Knows Best is brought to you by Audible. Hey, what's up guys, Soldier Knows Best here. This is my review of the Sony CyberShot RX100. This is a camera that Sony is positioning right above your regular point and shoot cameras, but still right there below a full-fledged DSLR. This is a camera that Sony's offering in a very small, portable, lightweight package, but packs a lot of punch as far as the pictures. So I've been using this camera all across the world, literally, so I have a lot of good pictures to show you as far as examples about what type of quality you can get out of this camera. But first, we're going to take a look about the design and the hardware. Take a look at the, I'm stuttering all my words, but this is getting right into the review. Take a look at the camera. You can tell Sony put a very nice little sleek and stylish and very subtle sexiness to this camera. Now, even though this camera is lightweight and compact, Sony was still able to pack a lot of good features and things inside of this. One of those big things is that it does feature a 20.2 megapixel CMOS sensor, which is going to be really good for low light shooting. And add that with the f1.8 Carl Zeiss lens, it's just going to be taking fantastic low light photos, which I'll be showing you here in a second. Now, the lens itself can get you 3.6 times optical zoom and 7.2 times clear image digital zoom. And this camera should still be able to take really good pictures at an ISO of 6400. And also at the base of the lens, you do have this control ring that you can use to manually adjust the zoom of the lens if you wanted to, but also you can adjust it in the settings to do different things as well. Now on the back, you'll find a 3-inch extra fine, just like I like my women, the LCD display that's going to have really good colors, and it's going to be very easy to view in direct sunlight. I use this thing outdoors in Australia, and I'll still be able to see all the photos that I just took on this without any problems at all. And to the right of the screen, you will find a control wheel that you'll use to navigate through all the different settings and menus and things like that. And also, you'll find a function button which you can customize to pretty much do whatever you like to, depending on what situation you're in. And you'll find a dedicated movie record button as well. Now, to the right, you'll find a micro USB port that's going to be used for charging and syncing. And on the bottom, you will find the battery compartment, which will also be housed in the memory card that's going to be used to store your photos and videos. And then right to the top left of that, you will find a little mini HDMI to be able to plug this into a TV or the monitor to view your photos on it directly. And at the top of the camera, you will find an on-off button, the shutter release button with the zoom controls, and also a little mode dial here to switch between all the different modes. And this camera does have a pop-up flash, which allows you to even adjust the angle of the flash. You can just move your finger and tilt it back and forth. Say you want to bounce the flash off the ceiling or off a wall or something like that. Sometimes that may be better than flashing it directly at the subject. So I do like that little functionality of the flash itself. Now, one thing that is missing from the design of this camera is just a little grip on the front to kind of help your shots be a lot more stable. A lot of other digital cameras around this price range do have that. This one is missing that. I guess Sony really want to go with the style aspect of it. Didn't want to have this little hump on the front of it. But that's one thing they could have done to improve it. But other than that, guys, I'm pretty satisfied with the overall design and build quality of this camera. And that's going to talk about what makes this camera tick, and that is the software. Now, once again, Sony's been able to put a very nice intuitive control scheme into this camera. Just navigating through all the different settings and your manual things that you can adjust, or it's just a breeze for all those people who are prosumers out there, really want to be able to get in there and tinker everything from the exposure and all that stuff, to people who just kind of like me, just want to be able to pull this camera out and take a really nice shot. Sony has done a really good job at kind of complementing both parties there. And this camera does have a good amount of modes to choose from, but the mode that I spent the most time in is just a superior auto mode, which is it just automatically takes the absolute best picture, whether you're zooming in close on the flower, it was automatically switch to macro, or every time trying to pull all the way back and take a really good landscape shot. And it takes up to 6 photos at once and then combines all of those together to make one good superior image. All right, well, that's enough with the software, enough with the hardware, and it's going to see what this camera can do. So I'm about to show you some pictures and some videos that I've been taking in a lot of different locations, so you can get a really good example of how this camera can perform. So go ahead and be a judge for yourself, sit back and relax, and here are the pictures and videos. All right, so most of these photos I'm going to be showing you actually from Sydney, Australia, and St. Petersburg, Russia, when I was doing the Intel Ultrabook race, traveling around the world doing this crazy race. More about that later. I think that show is going to be starting next week from the time this video is uploaded. But anyway, I just want you to pay attention to the color accuracy that's in these photos. Everything is just really smooth. And right now I'm just showing you a quick little example of a photo that I took with the sweep panorama function or mode here in this Sony RX100. But some of these photos I did apply like the toy filter to it. And this is kind of a couple of those photos that do have that look. But again, all of these photos are taken directly on the camera, no post editing or touch-ups or anything like that. This right here is showing off one of my favorite features, the HDR painting feature, which it looks really awesome, presents a very really good and interesting picture there. And now I'm just showing you some photos in black and white because I think you can really see the details from some of these shots that this camera is able to produce. And I took some shots at nighttime. I'm going to be showing you some examples where it's pitch black dark, but I had a couple of subjects here that were lit up, and that f1.8 really came in handy handy here, and it really was able to produce some really good shots. Now coming to some of my favorite shots, some macro shots of some of these plants and flowers and things like that I came across on my trip. And this one photo I'm getting ready to show you right now is going to be my absolute favorite photo out of the bunch. And this is it right here. You can just see the detail of this. It's just absolutely amazing. I did not touch this up at all. This is directly from the camera itself. As I zoom in here, you can see some of the pollen kind of flaking off there on a few of the petals. This is just absolutely my favorite shot. I think one of the best shots that I've ever taken. It's just look absolutely amazing. This is what this camera can produce. Here we are walking through the woods, getting a test of the video quality and the audio quality. And so again, here's just some video tests here, and that first little snippet, I wanted you to hear the audio. All that audio was coming from the built-in stereo microphones inside of this camera. But other than that, the video quality is okay. It's not bad at all, but it's not the best that I've seen from cameras in this category. It did perform well in low light situations. Again, the f1.8 coming in handy there, but overall, it just wasn't as impressive as the photos were. And I did like that this camera can shoot and record in 60p as well. So if you want to be slowing down things in slow motion and things like that, that will come in handy. And a lot of the footage does look a lot smoother in that mode. But yeah, just here's a quick look at some of the video here that I was able to take with the Sony RX100. So how did everything look to you? Well, for me, I would say that the pictures were the best part of this camera. The pictures really just popped out on the screen there. Especially you look at this on a high resolution monitor, or maybe something like the Retina MacBook Pro, and you can see just so many pieces of detail inside of each picture. Even in low light situations, as I showed you before, the camera was still able to perform well at that f1.8. Now, the one bad thing is though, if you do start to zoom in, you immediately lose that 1.8 as you zoom in more and more and more. So that's one thing that you do have to take into account. But if you just all the way open with the f1.8, this camera does perform very well in low light situations. And the video quality from this camera is good. Just not the best in this category, you know, compared to some other models and brands out there, but it definitely is good. I love the steady shot with it that allows your video to be very smooth and steady. Even when you're walking and different things like that, you're able to keep a nice steady shot. So again, video quality will be great for most people out there. Not the best in the category, but definitely good enough to get the job done. Overall, guys, I'm kind of wrapping up my review here of this camera. I would say I was thoroughly pleased with this camera just from the size, and it's very compact, very portable, and it's very unassuming. But once you start taking pictures with this thing, you can really see a lot of detail. I will definitely give this camera a salute. I can recommend it. So this camera does cost $650. So it's definitely not one of these cameras that you're probably gonna get your grandma. But this camera is definitely worth the price if you're looking for something as a backup to a DSLR, because it takes really good pictures that are just like a DSLR. Then also too, is something that's very small and portable, like a regular digital camera that you can just put in your pocket and go. So either way, this camera is just a camera that's really good for all different situations. You really can't go wrong with getting this camera. So anyway, guys, I'm going to be putting some of the photos that I've taken with this camera on my Facebook page, my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/SKBfans. And also too, if I remember, I'll make a Flickr account, and I'll put all those links down below in the description box of this video. But anyway, guys, this almost brings it into this review. But before we head out of here, I'm going to take one last look at our sponsor for this video. And today's sponsor is Audible, which is the leading provider for downloadable audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. You can download these books on your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, almost anything if you want to listen to it while you're on the go. They have over 100,000 different titles from different genres like science fiction and thrillers and comedies. And you can download a book, like one of my favorite books that I downloaded was the biography of Steve Jobs. You can actually get that from the store right now. And you can get that for absolutely free if you go to audiblepodcast.com/soldier, because you can try out one free book right now. Yes, go to audiblepodcast.com/soldier and go ahead and get the downloading. Let me know what you're going to be reading down below. All right, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this RX100 camera. Please leave a comment down below. Again, remember to check out my links down below if you want to see some real photos from this camera and just their full-on quality, I guess. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.